happy people. We meet again for True Living Show, which comes via Sky Cable TV. But before we proceed, press the red button. We're continuing on this series on interactive, and we'll have answers and questions. So we are talking about the 10 tests that when you get to your 40s, you're supposed to be done. And I'll simplify them as much as I can. So the first one is complete blood work. What I mean by complete blood work is blood work which, you'll go to a laboratory. The doctor will order for the test to be done. He'll give a prescription order to draw that kind of blood test so that it can be done. And what is usually on that blood test, what is done is your white blood cells are being checked, your red blood cells are being checked, and your platelets are being checked. So we'll move on. And if there's any comment on any question, I'm ready for that.
How dina kiuria uhoro wa like platelets muno tuti kihota to understand if you can just like chew it down for us otwire akorwo ni ta platelets ni ati ikoragwo igika mwiri anyway mahinda maingĩ nĩ tũhĩtũkagĩrĩrwo nĩ maũndũ nĩ ũndũ wa kwaga kũnyita ũrĩa kũrerwo. So like akorwo nĩ ta platelets icio iplayaga part ĩrĩkũ thĩinĩ wa mwĩrĩ, and why is it important especially after 40?
Platelet icio rĩ nĩcio ta rĩu watemwo rĩ cicokanagĩrĩraga handũ nĩguo thakame ĩyo ĩtige kuma ika block. So nĩkĩo wĩkagwo test ĩyo ĩtagwo complete blood work ĩrĩa ĩcekaga thakame, tondũ thĩinĩ wa thakame rĩ thĩinĩ wa thakame kwĩna indo ta ithatũ. Kwĩna thakame ĩrĩa njerũ ĩtagwo white blood cell, na kwĩna ĩyo ndune ĩna hemoglobin, tondũ hemoglobin nĩ ĩkoragwo na ka oxygen thĩinĩ, na cells icio ikoragwo ina karima hau thĩinĩ. Nacio platelet rĩ nĩ icio ingĩ nyamũ ithiaga igakorwo handũ watemwo igoka hau cikoka hau cigathinga ũtige kura thakame ĩyo mo. Ũguo nĩyo test ĩrĩa ĩkagwo. Then we move on to basic metabolic panel. When you're 40, you should know your metabolic basic metabolic panel. What I mean by that is that test, your blood is done some tests. And that one is, it helps you know your metabolism. What I mean is that blood sample is taken. It tells you, it's usually removed from a vein, not from any other blood vessel, but a vein. So it tells you about your blood urea, your nitrogen, your calcium, your carbon dioxide, your chloride, your creatine, your glucose, which is your sugar, your potassium, and your sodium. So it is very, very important to know, to rule out. Let's say you went to a doctor and you have a certain problem. So the complete blood count and basic metabolic panel, they are also good to be checked at. So, and then there is another one which is complete metabolic panel, which should also be done. And that one also, it tells you about your electrolytes, your glucose, your liver function, your kidney functions, and your fluid balance, and your level of electrolytes. So it is always very important. And that's the one, let's say you go to a doctor, especially, let's say, they say you are dehydrated or you don't have enough fluid. So that is the test to be done. So if there is any comment or any question on that, I can answer, or we can talk about it or proceed on. Another one we'll talk about is the Rippy Panel. Once you're 40, the blood should be drawn, so that's a determinant for your cholesterol. So you can be checked the cholesterol in your blood, the bad cholesterol or the good cholesterol. So it is very, very important for you to know your cholesterol numbers and the levels you are in. So that in that way you'll know, are you a candidate of where your veins can block or not. So if there is any comment or any question, you can write it on the comment box, or we can take a question or a comment on that. Okay, we'll proceed on. So the other one is the thyroid. The thyroid panel. So the thyroid panel, it's, how your body, regulates how it is, its function, the weight loss, body temperature. And this test is good because whether you have hypo or hyperthyroid. That's why we hear some people, they have thyroid issues. Either it's low or it's high. So if there is any question on that, or if there is any comment on that, I'm ready for that.
When it comes to like thyroid,
Mm-hmm.
When I have like unexplained weight gain, does that mean that thyroid ciakwa cina gathina kana riria ndiraigua heho kana I don't know that to explain what thyroid really, what part they play in the body.
What part is plays on the body?
Yeah.
Thyroid, no ikorwo a very, very active, hyper, HYPER,
Yeah.
hyper. Now no ikorwo a too slow, hypo. So when it's hyper, it's acting very fast. So in that way, you can easily lose weight and become underweight or less weight. Then when it's hypo, it's slow. It's not, it's not, your regulation of your body function slows down. And that's why, you add more weight, uria wagĩrĩirwo kũfunctionaga rĩ tiguo ũrafunction, you are too slow. Koguo hĩndĩ ĩyo rĩ nĩ ũkuongerera weight, na rĩrĩa wĩ hyper rĩ nĩ ũkũ-lose more weight.
Does it mean rĩrĩa thyroid ciakwa ina gathĩna rĩ, ta rĩu hyper ũguo raiga rĩ, koguo he ũndũ ndagĩtarĩ angĩthondeka, most of the people who are overweight nima overlookaga maybe that problem of thyroid tondu ndahota gukorwo ndiri ndameigua na riu tondu ringi ndameigua muthenya wa mbere umuthi ri koguo no hote guthi njire ndagitari andore thyroid ciakwa kana cina thina nikio ndirangain weight na no ahote gutako my weight problem from there.
No ahote tondu mostly by the way, for your health, ona go ndagĩtarĩ nĩ egũgũceka na campaign-ĩre rĩ, ndagĩtarĩ akoragwo on a tight schedule tondũ ena andũ aingĩ a kuona. But you as a person wakinya 40 kana ũrĩa ũrĩ, you are your first campaigner for your health. Koguo rĩ, ũngĩkorwo ta rĩu nĩ wongerera kĩwĩiti o rĩmwe, ti kũrĩa ũrarĩa mũno, na ndũĩ nĩkĩ wacenjia, wakinya 40 and above, nĩ wagĩrĩirwo gũthiĩ kwĩ ndagĩtarĩ ũmwĩre agũceke. Angĩkorwo ndagũcekete, kana angĩkorwo ndũthiaga kwĩ ndagĩtarĩ maingĩ, nĩ wagĩrĩirwo gũcekwo ũkĩmenyekane nĩkĩ, because there are so many determinants ingĩtũma wongerere weight kana lose weight. Na angĩkorwo ũrarĩa o ũrĩa ũrarĩaga rĩ, na mazoezi ũreka ũrĩa ũrekaga rĩ, ndũcenjetie maũndũ maingĩ rĩ, no mwĩrĩ nĩ ũcenjirie mũno rĩ, then there is a question mark. Koguo nĩ wagĩrĩirwo gũthiĩ wĩkwo test ĩyo, and together with many other tests iria tũrĩcoka twarĩrĩrie gũkũ just another day. Then we continue on. Another test which should be done is the enzyme markers. So what we know about enzyme markers, ne enzymes, nĩ ũhotaga kũmenya kana, you know, you can be checked on enzyme changes or diseases. Most of them are inherited. Other things, ũngĩcekwo hĩndĩ ĩrĩa ũrekwo enzymes markers is most of the cancers. They can easily be questionable if any of the markers is depressed or whatever. So in that way, ndagĩtarĩ no ahote kũmenya kana kũnyita ũndũ if there is a change of an inherited kind of a disease or a marker for any cancer disease. Another one is sexually transmitted diseases. So we know there are tons and many numbers of sexually transmitted diseases. And when you are 40, you should know yourself better. So some can be caught up with some of the tests, especially if most of the diseases, the sexually transmitted diseases, can be caught up with the blood tests, different types, because we have so many number of sexually transmitted diseases. Some they'll show, you'll obviously know, or when the doctor sees you, but there are some of the sexually transmitted diseases which hides. And unless you are done blood test, you cannot know which diseases or if you have it. If there is any comment or question, we are ready for that.
Ndĩna kĩũria.
Ũria.
Atĩrĩrĩ. Rĩrĩa some of these sexually transmitted illnesses, ta kĩndũ ta tuge ta gonorrhea.
Yes.
No ĩkorwo nĩ ikaraga mwĩrĩ and like magnify itself at 40 kana kaũndũ ta kau kagũthiaga atĩa tondũ, you know, why at 40? Why, na ndĩratinda ngĩũria kĩũria kĩu, why at 40? Nĩ ũndũ wa rĩrĩ. Are there specific illnesses that really show up at 40? No ũkorwo nĩ wacigĩire tene.
Nĩ kũrĩ ta icio, but still waiga gonorrhea rĩ, that one ndĩngĩhaidia until you are 40. Angĩkorwo wĩnayo, you'll know, because its symptoms are different from, let's say, something like syphilis or HIV or something like that. Because gonorrhea, you'll have discharge, you'll have itching. Whatever stage you get onto, you'll know you have it. But the other diseases, they hide there. And we said when you are 40, nĩguo wambagia kwĩmenya. Na noguo ũkoragwo na crisis maingĩ. Na tũroiga 40 nĩguo tondũ wakinya 40 no ũrenda gũikara maica mangĩ. So maica mangĩ megega. tondũ hĩndĩ ĩyo nĩ ũranindĩkana na njĩra nyingĩ, bũrũri nĩ ũrakũnindi, ciana nĩ irakũnindi, maũndũ maku nĩ marakũnindi, so no overlook, no wage kũmenyekana, kana no mwĩrĩ waku no wambie deteriorate. So nĩkĩo tũroiga wambe ũrorwo sexually transmitted diseases. Mbere ĩyo nĩ tũkwarĩtie ũhoro wa inherited diseases. Mbere ĩyo nĩ tũkwarĩtie ũhoro wa dehydration and electrolyte imbalances. Koguo it's like all diseases are being checked at this age. But rĩu icio tuoka cia sexually transmitted diseases, harĩa tũkwaragia ũhoro wa whole blood count, angorwo nĩ white blood cells icioneka cina gathĩna, so hau no hakorwo na infection and inflammation ĩrĩa ĩngĩkoswo nĩ bacteria kana virus. So haha naho nĩ sexually transmitted diseases ĩrĩa ĩngĩkoswo also nĩ virus kana bacteria kana all these other things which causes diseases. Tondũ nĩ tũyona yeast is like a sexually transmitted disease, and there are also other viruses also. So nikio tureka all these tests niguo wikarage ukimenyaga. Once you hit 40 is the big number, tondu andu aingi makoragwo metereire ma hit 40 tondu nio age ĩrĩa ya kwĩmenya. Then another one is Coagulation Panel. So this one is like you have to know your coagulation numbers for your blood. And it's very, very important because some people, their coagulation is not good. Others, it might be very thin, or others, it can throb. So you can easily have blood which is clotting within you, and you can get diseases like DVT, you know, and when it's clot, also a clot can pass through your heart, your brain, and then you can have a massive stroke. So, and then also when you have it not clotting well, you know, we'll get onto this at a later date on what causes them to not coagulate or coagulate more. Then when it doesn't coagulate and your blood is thin, then let's say you have a cut somewhere. Your blood is, you know, you can bleed until you die. And then there are people with those inherited diseases. Shia thakame ndĩrakũrot. So it is always good to know where you stand. And if there is any question or any comment on that, I'm ready. But if there is none, don't forget to press the subscribe button down there. And don't forget to watch this True Living show at Sky Cable TV every Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern African time and 1 p.m. Eastern time. And thank you for watching.